Does that look like tough for folks to present on Teams? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, we can hear you in the room. We just can't see your camera in the room at the moment.
That's
Well, it's good. It's good that there's some folks on the other side of the room. The whole room was beginning to list this direction there. So thanks.
well, we'll begin with a pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Missoula County acknowledges that this event takes place in the Aboriginal territories of the Salish and Kalispel people. Any public announcements, Kyla or Annie, about closed captioning?
Sure. Hi, everybody. If you're joining us meeting virtually today, instructions for turning on the closed captioning are on your screen. If you're joining us in person, you'll have closed captioning on all the screens here in the Sophie Moise room, and we also have assistive listening devices available. Please come see me or Annie if you'd like to get an assisted listening device, and we'll get one for you. We ask that all speakers today please remember to speak slowly and clearly during the meeting. This helps with the accuracy of the closed captioning. There will be multiple chances during the meeting for public comment. During those times, if you'd like to speak and you're virtually, you can use your raise the hand feature. If you're on Microsoft Teams, this is a small hand button. If you're calling in on the phone, you'll need to hit *5 to raise your hand. And then once called on, you'll need to hit *6 to unmute. If you have any questions, you can come find us during the meeting. Thanks.
Thank you. We have a couple proclamations to read. First one, March for Meals on Wheels.
Okay, this is a proclamation of Missoula
March
County.
March for Meals Month, sorry.
No problem. Proclamation of the City of Missoula and Missoula County. Whereas the Meals on Wheels program at Missoula Aging Services is a valuable resource to older adults in Missoula County. And whereas in the past year in Missoula County, more than 90 Meals on Wheels volunteer drivers delivered 125,579 meals to 781 homebound individuals. Community lunch sites served 32,622 meals to 768 clients, and 19,800 units of liquid supplement were provided to clients. And more than 50% more people were served than before the pandemic. And whereas volunteer drivers for Meals on Wheels are the backbone of this program through their dedication to bring not only hot, nutritious meals to clients, but also caring concern and attention to their welfare. And whereas Missoula Aging Services counts on these volunteers and the support of the community to serve the growing numbers of older residents who need this service in order to remain in their homes. And whereas we wish to raise awareness and support for Meals on Wheels in Missoula and surrounding areas, now therefore we, the Missoula Board of County Commissioners and the Mayor of the City of Missoula, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2023 as March for Meals Month in Missoula, Montana. And we invite citizens to thank the caring volunteer drivers, recognize the value of this service to homebound elders and adults with disabilities, and encourage citizens to volunteer as Meals on Wheels drivers so elders may remain in their homes. Signed, Mayor Jordan Hess and the Board of County Commissioners.
Thank you. Is there anyone here who'd like to speak to this in the room or online? Okay, our second proclamation is for Women's History Month. Whereas American women of every race, class, and ethnic background have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of the United States in countless recorded and unrecorded ways. And whereas American women have played and continue to play critical economic, cultural, and social roles in every sphere of life of the United States by constituting a significant portion of the labor force, working inside and outside of the home, and whereas American women continue to complete the majority of uncompensated domestic work, and whereas American women have played a unique role throughout history by providing the majority of the volunteer labor force of the United States. And whereas American women were particularly important in the establishment of early charitable, philanthropical, and cultural institutions in country, whereas American women of every race, class, and ethnic background served as early leaders in the forefront of every major progressive social change movement, and whereas American women have served our country courageously in the military, and whereas American women have been leaders not only in securing their own rights of suffrage and equal opportunity, but also in the abolitionist movement, the emancipation movement, the industrial labor movement, the civil rights movement, and other movements, especially the peace movement, all of which create a more fair and just society for all. And whereas a Montana woman, Jeanette Rankin, was the first woman elected to the United States House of Representatives, and whereas Missoula County became the first in the United States to vote for an all-female commission in 1985 when Barbara Evans, Anne Mary Dussault, and Janet Stevens served on the board. And whereas despite these many contributions, the role of American women in history has been consistently overlooked and undervalued in the literature, teaching, and study of American history. Now, therefore, we, the Missoula Board of County Commissioners, and Jordan Hess, Mayor of the City of Missoula, do hereby recognize the month of March 2023 as Women's History Month and invite all citizens to observe this month and to celebrate International Women's Day on March 8th, 2023, with programs, ceremonies, and activities, and to visit www.womenshistorymonth.gov and montanawomen'shistory.org to learn more about the vital contributions of women to our country and state's history. Thanks. Anyone here to speak to that? Okay. Any public comment on items not on the agenda? Our current claims list as of February 1st, 2023 to February 17th, 2023 by the Commissioner's Office total $4,038,847.36. We have 246 hearings. And before we get started with the hearings, there may be some confusion around the Riverside Industrial Subdivision. So Lauren, if you could set us straight, that'd be great.
Great. Thank you, Commissioners. So for the record, Lauren Ryan, planner with Planning Development and Sustainability. So if anyone from the public is here today to speak to the Riverside Industrial Subdivision phasing plan commencement, there was some confusion in the news that this was a newly proposed subdivision is how the article read, where the subdivision was approved in August of last year, and today's hearing is simply for the commencement of phase 1, which is a requirement that if it's a phase subdivision that we take it in front of the county commissioners if there's any new information since it was approved in August. So wanted to state that for the record if anyone from the public was here to comment on that item.
Anyone in the room? Okay, or anyone online? Okay, well, our first hearing is the water main extension. So Eric Dixon, who I believe is online. Oh, and we can see you.
Right, great. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Eric Dixon, County Engineer with the Public Works Department. The request before you today is the consideration of allowing a City of Missoula water main extension on Clyde Street and Michigan Avenue in East Missoula. Public Works was approached by Wythe Engineering in January with this request that will provide service to an 18-plex residential development at Highway 200. Our Public Works Manual requires that requests for water main extensions be expressly approved by the commissioners before an excavation permit is requested. Wythe Engineering has submitted their plans to the State Department of Environmental Quality, to the City of Missoula, and those reviews have come back and everything is good to go from those permitting agencies' ends. So we would recommend that the use of Clyde Street and Michigan Avenue in East Missoula be allowed for a City of Missoula water main extension. If there are any questions on the development, I believe Wythe Engineering is on the line today.
Thanks, Eric. And who from Wythe is here? Oops, I see. Oh, Matt Hammerstein?
And
Or
sorry,
Stein?
if I could, I'll share my screen to show where this development is. So this is the part kind of next to the parking lot at Ole's in East Missoula, right next to the storage units that front Highway 200. It's an existing bare lot. So the existing water main is on Minnesota Avenue. Down here, the request would be to extend that water main north on Clyde and then west to the proposed development. So Matt, I don't know if you have any additional information or if there are any questions about that.
Yeah, I don't have anything additional or anything to add, more or less just here to answer questions if they come up. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the room who has comments or questions? And how about anyone online? Oh, it looks like Matt's Larson.
Yes, Matt Larson. Hi, thanks for allowing me to speak. I was just wondering what the projected listing value was going to be for these 18 for the 18 units each, and I was wondering who's going to pick up the bill for extending the water main. That's all.
Okay, thanks. Eric or Matt?
I can answer the part about the water main extension. That will be by the developer, so there will be no cost to Missoula County. As far as the expected market value, Matt, I don't know if you have any ideas.
Yeah, I don't know what their listing value is going to be, and the water main is financed by the developer.
Thank you. Any further questions online? Okay, so we'll close the hearing then, unless there's anyone.
Yeah,
no one's in the room.
Unless there's anyone in the room who wants to speak to this.
Do you have any questions?
No. Well, yeah. Eric, could you bring that schematic back up? So, yeah, so just out of curiosity, and this makes total sense. I'm just wondering, where do the residences immediately across the street on Michigan get their water? Are they on wells, or how do they access if you got to extend the water main as far as you're showing here?
Yep. So those residences on Michigan, they have services that come out the back and then they run down the alley parallel to the sanitary sewer main that you can see there. And then they take another 90 and the services run all the way to Minnesota. So the new water main will be installed underneath those services. And then when the new water main is tested and approved by the city, those services will be cut at the new main and they'll tie back into the new main at the alley right there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I have no other questions.
Okay, how do you?
Okay, I would move that we approve the extension of the water main.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay. Lauren Ryan with the Riverside.
Thank you, commissioners. Again, for the record, Lauren Ryan, planner with Planning Development and Sustainability. The request today is for the intent to file the final plat of phase 1 of the Riverside Industrial Subdivision. And I'll state again, this subdivision was approved in August of 2022 of last year. And the applicant is represented by WGM Group. So the subdivision is located just south of Highway 10 West, near the Y interchange off of I-90. And so the per MCA, prior to the commencement of a phase development, the subdivider shall provide written comment to the or written notice to the governing body, and within 30 working days, hold a hearing. And the purpose of this hearing is to determine whether or not any new impacts or information exists that would warrant any new conditions to the subdivision. And staff has not, there's been no new information presented since the approval in August that would warrant any new conditions. So again, the subdivision is a total of 36 lots. Phase 1 is the first 25 lots, and phase 2 encompasses 11 lots. Again, the hearing today is just for the phase 1 commencement of 25 lots. So this graphic just shows the pink area are the lots that are included in phase 1, and phase 2 is in the green there. So we provided, again, this first came to the county commissioners in December of 2022, and the applicant requested additional time. We re-noticed for this hearing via mail, had a voice page and also agency comment, and we did not receive any comments with this phasing plan. And so staff is recommending approval of the phase 1 commencement based on the findings of fact, subject to the conditions of approval. And again, we did not add any additional conditions of approval from the original subdivision. And I do believe Jeff Smith with WGM Group is online if he would like to add anything additional. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff Smith with WGM Group representing Riverside Industrial. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity for this hearing today. Really just looking forward to getting rolling through design for roads and trails and grading and water and sewer and wastewater and fire suppression, et cetera. And yeah, the same project that we talked about with the commissioners in August last year. Just really here for any questions if there are any. So thanks for the time.
Thank you. Anyone in the room or online who has questions or comments about this? Okay, we don't see anyone in here. I don't have any questions.
Nor do I. So I move that we approve Riverside Industrial Subdivision Phase 1 as part.
I would say of the commencement. Sorry.
Okay, I move that we.
Thanks.
Sorry, there's a typo there. I apologize.
I move that we approve Riverside Industrial Subdivision Phase 1 as part of Phase 1 commencement based on the findings of fact in the staff report and subject to the condition of approval.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, it helps to read it before I actually say it out loud. So.
Brady family transfer.
Sorry about that. That was my bad. I can be blamed for that one. Great. So the Brady family transfer, the claimant for this proposal is Gary Brady, who's represented by Montana Northwest Company. So this is a request to utilize the family transfer exemption to create and transfer one parcel to the applicant's son. The property is located in the Huson area, just north of Frenchtown Frontage Road near the Huson exit. The lot is approximately 23 acres and is unzoned and falls within the 2002 Regional Land Use Area Guide. There are two land use designations on this property, one of which is open and resourced, and the other residential with a recommended density of 1 unit per 10 acres. And because the proposal today where the new law is proposed to be created falls where the open and resource designation is. The proposal would exceed the recommended density of the land use plan. So the property is has one existing small structure on it. If you can see my cursor there, up on the north side of the property, and the rest of the property is vacant. So the existing tract of record is tract 2. This configuration was created by a family transfer that was approved and filed in 2018. And again, the proposal today is on tract 2 of the COS. So the proposal again is to create and transfer one parcel to the claimant's son, Matthew Brady. And the application notes that the tract is anticipated to be used for single-family residential development. So here are the proposed parcel layout. Tract 2B with that existing structure, just a little over 2 acres, is proposed to be transferred to the claimant's son. And tract 2A would be retained by the applicant. So with reviewing the general evasion criteria and rebuttable presumptions, 3 of the criteria were triggered. The first one was if the original tract was transferred to the claimant within the past 2 years. That was marked as applicable. The claimant purchased the property in February of 2022. Is the proposed division incompatible with the growth policy? And I covered this a little bit earlier, but due to where the proposed divided lot would be, it does fall within that open and resource, which goes above the recommended density, which is 1 per 40. And if the proposed division is on a tract that was previously created through use of family transfer exemption, and as discussed earlier, this tract was created through a family transfer exemption in 2018. And I believe the claimant is online for questions.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Great. So I just asked that you state your name for the record.
Okay, Gary Brady.
Great. And did you buy the property with the intent of dividing it?
So we bought the 23 acres with the hope that my son and his family and my wife and I could all move out to that property and build two homes.
Great. Do you or your transferees intend to transfer the property within the next year?
So after this transaction, is that what you're asking?
Correct.
No, we have no intent to do anything other than live on the land the rest of our lives.
Okay. And have you talked to anyone at the county about going through subdivision review?
No.
And will the property be developed?
Again, we want to build two homes on it, so yes.
Great. And will the recipient of the property be residing on the property?
Yes.
Great. That is all my questions. And again, staff is recommending approval of the family transfer. Thank you.
Thanks, Lauren. Is there anyone from Montana Northwest Company?
I don't believe I saw anyone
Okay.
online from Montana Northwest. I could be wrong though. So
Okay. Any questions or comments in the room or online? Okay, we don't hear any.
I do have a question. Mr. Brady, so your son is an adult, correct?
It looks like he froze.
Oh.
Oh, there he is.
Hi, I can hear you now again. I'm sorry. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
Mr. Brady, just confirming that your son is an adult, not a minor?
Yes, he's 32 years old, has a wife and 2 children.
Excellent. Good to hear. The lots immediately to the south were part of a family transfer a number of years ago, which is one of the more regrettable decisions I've made. Those went to minors, and I think we've seen what happened there. So thanks for the answer, Mr. Brady. I'm ready to make a motion.
Great.
Okay. I move to approve the request by Gary Brady to utilize the family transfer exemption to create and transfer one parcel as presented in the subdivision exemption affidavit.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, Bailey Minich, Schwartz, family transfer.
Okay, give me 1 second here to get my screen pulled up and share it. Yay, okay. Good afternoon, commissioners. For the record, my name is Bailey Minnick. I'm with the Planning, Development, and Sustainability Department. This
Mispronounced your name.
Oh, you did. Oh, did you say it with
I
the
said
H?
CH and
See,
yeah.
so it's like the
I
CK.
know better.
Yeah. It's okay. It happens all the time. So this afternoon we will talk. Sorry, I was moving that about the Schwartz family transfer. So the property is located at 4805 Warnath Road. Here is hopefully if it's going to change on the screen. Sorry, everybody. It's a little slow. There we go. So the red box is the subject property. It's out by the Blue Mountain Road intersection there near Highway 93 South, just a little out of town. The proposal is to create and transfer one tract to the claimant's son, and then the one tract will remain with the applicants. The gifted tract will be approximately 1.55 acres, and the retained tract approximately a little over 2.5 acres in size. The subdivision exemption application states the claimant resides on the existing home and the proposed tract will be gifted to the recipient for anticipated future development of a single family dwelling. This is the proposed layout. So the new tract is down here to the south. I don't know if you can see my cursor down here, but down there at near the bottom. Growth policy and zoning. This is located in the rural residential and small agricultural designation of our 2019 land use element, which was an amendment to our growth policy, which gives a recommended density ranging between 1 unit per acre and 2 units per acre. It's also located within our citizen initiated zoning district number 18. That district has no minimum lot size requirements and no maximum density requirements. For review criteria, it did trigger one rebuttable presumption, which was that the original or the tract that's being divided today that they're requesting was created through the family transfer process in 1992. That actually was one of the claimants that was actually gifted to them in 1992. So they have owned this parcel since that time. And then under general evasion criteria, it was the same thing. Based on the tract history, they were the recipient of that family transfer in 1992. And so I do know the claimant is here in the room. Mr. Schwartz, if you'd like to step up to the microphone and I will ask you the questions. Oh, and then just press the little button there until it turns green. Perfect. And if I can have you state your name for the record.
It's Laverne Schwartz.
Did you buy the property with the intent of dividing it?
No.
Okay. Do you or your transferees intend to transfer the property within the next year?
No.
Okay. Have you talked to anyone at the county about going through subdivision review?
No.
Okay. Will the property be developed?
No. Well, his part will be eventually.
Okay. And then finally, will the recipient of the property be residing on the property?
Eventually, yes.
Okay. And then, so finally, my recommendation is for approval, and I proposed a recommended motion. If you have any questions.
Thank you. Any questions in the room or online? Okay, Dave?
No questions, Mr. Schwartz. Anything else you want to tell us?
Nope.
Okay, fair enough. I guess I do have one question. This would be for you, Bailey, or maybe John Hart. Is there, provided that there's no attempt to evade subdivision review and a proposed family transfer would otherwise be acceptable and aligns with growth policy and all of that, is there any limitation on the number of times that a parcel could be conveyed via a family transfer over time? There is not. If it's a platted subdivision, then don't worry, Mr. Schwartz, this is just for my own edification. So
in a platted subdivision, you may run into some of the property covenants in that subdivision that would prevent even one division or multiple divisions of a lot. But otherwise, no, this is I mean, presumably Mr. Schwartz's son someday could divide his parcel and give it to his, one of his children too.
okay.
I think there's a limit on the size, isn't there? That
Well, you're going to have some sanitation restrictions,
right? Yeah.
In that part of the county, and so yeah. But 50 years from now, there may be sanitary sewer and water and other amenities.
There's been talk about bringing it across the bridge, so hopefully one of these years.
All right. Yeah, thanks. Great trivia question.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
I would move to approve the request by Laverne and Janet Schwartz to utilize the family transfer exemption to create and transfer one parcel to their son, Michael Ray Schwartz, as presented in the exemption application and affidavit.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Good luck with your
Good
project.
luck.
Yeah.
Oh, and Bailey, yep.
Yep, I've got the
Where is
next
it?
one. Hold on
Oh,
one
hi.
second.
Aggregation and family transfer.
Hold on. I lost my Teams meeting link. Give me a second here. It disappeared. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. Too many screens on my little tiny computer screen. So, so this is the Hoheim. I'm not good at pronouncing that. I apologize. Family transfer and aggregation. The property is at 12581 Balsam Route Road. Here is the, there it goes. The subject property. So we're down off of Highway 12, down in the Lolo area, just west of town. The proposal is to create and transfer 2 tracts to the claimant's adult children, and 1 tract will be retained by the applicant. Both of the gifted tracts are approximately 2 acres in size, and then the retained tract would be approximately 19.8 acres. The application does also include the aggregation of some underlying tracts that were found by the clerk and recorder's office. The subdivision exemption application states the claimant resides in the existing home on the tract, and then the proposed tract will be gifted to the recipients for anticipated future development of residential homes. This is the subject, the proposal. It's turned sideways, that way it could zoom in a little bit better. But the proposed tracts are these parcel B and parcel C that would be at the southern end of the property. So north is to the right of the screen over this way. Growth policy and zoning. It is located within a split zoning district between the open and resource designation and the floodway designation in the 2002 Lolo Regional Plan. Open and resource, they're compliant with the floodway designation because they are proposing development outside of the floodway and the floodplain. And then with open and resource, they are clustering the proposed development to preserve the majority of the property. So they are clustering those 2 lots together down to the south. And then it is unzoned. So there are no, unzoned. So there are no minimum sizes or any zoning requirements in this area. Review criteria, they did not trigger any of the rebuttable presumptions. The general evasion criteria, they triggered two. One was the claimant was involved in a previous boundary line relocation with the property in 2010. And then number 7CI, the property is contiguous and shares a common road, Balsam Root Road, with some platted lots in the Lolo Creek subdivision, which is located directly north of the subject property. However, Lolo Creek, which forms the northernmost boundary of the subject property, does separate this parcel from the Lolo Creek subdivision. And then I have questions for the claimant, which I believe I saw Eli and Associates on the call.
Hi, I'm Ryan Sale with Eli and Associates. The client was calling in, so Dan should be on the phone, I think.
One second here. Let me see if I can see if he's on the team.
I see two phone callers. Oh, there we go. Maybe you got yourself unmuted.
Oh, hello. Hey, can you hear me? Dan Hoheim.
Perfect. Yep, we can hear you, Dan. Give me 1 second. I'll make
Okay.
this bigger again. Okay, can you state your name for the record, please?
Dan Hoheim.
Okay. Did you buy the property with the intent of dividing it?
No.
Okay. Do you or your transferees intend to transfer the property within the next year?
No.
Okay. Have you talked
No.
to anyone at the county about going through subdivision review?
Negative.
Okay. Will the property be developed?
Well, I'm hoping they build on it. They want to.
Okay. And then finally, will the recipients of the property be residing on the property?
Yes, at least one of them wants to in the near future.
Okay. Appreciate that. And then, so finally, my recommendation is approval, and I've included two recommended motions. The first one is for the aggregation exemption, and then the second one is for the family transfer exemption. If you have any questions, commissioners.
No, anyone in the room or online? Questions or comments? Okay.
Mr. Hoheim, do you have anything else you'd like to share with us?
No. Nope. It's a process. I get it, but it'd be awesome if it's approved. So I'm hoping to have my kids around close to me for a while. So be nice.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll see what we can do about that. So I would move to approve the request by Daniel Hoheim to utilize the aggregation exemption as presented in the exemption application and affidavit.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
And I would move to approve the request by Daniel Hoheim to utilize the family transfer exemption to create and transfer two parcels to their sons, John Daniel Hoheim and Jacob Nicholas Hoheim, as presented in the exemption application and affidavit.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. Thank
you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, commissioners, I need to correct myself. I suggested that you could do a family transfer by dividing lots in a subdivision, in a platted subdivision. You actually can't do that. The reason I misspoke is because I believe that the legislature right now is considering changing the statute to allow family transfer exempt divisions within a subdivision, and so I was a little confused.
You were anticipating the legislature.
Legislature has a lot of ideas about subdivision exemptions, including family transfers.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Thanks for clarifying. Okay, Jenny Dixon with what is this one called? Stevens Family Transfer.
Hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so this is another family transfer request, this time from Rod and Kathleen Stevens. The property is located in Seeley Lake at 3751 Highway 83 North. It's about an 11-acre tract, and the property is currently used as the Stevens' residence for Rod and Kathleen. The proposal is for 2 family transfer tracts to their 2 adult children and 1 tract to remain within the claimant's ownership. Access is directly onto Highway 83 with 1 driveway to the home, and no additional highway access would be provided. This shows the property a little closer up. The 3751, it's shown in a green and black outline, and you can see just proximal south of Boy Scout Road, and Seeley Lake is just south of the property, a couple properties down. I did include also a screenshot of the growth policy in the area, because that is one of 2 evasion criteria that were triggered with this family transfer request. You can see the property is in this green, and there's these little 10s. That means residential, 1 dwelling per 10 acres approximately is the general recommendation. You might be able to see also some smaller tracts next to it, and then of course north on Highway 83 and south on Highway 83 across from it. But also the land use designation across Mullen is a little different, but this one factor is not enough for us to, would not warrant concluding that it is an evasion. This is a view of the property from the northwest, kind of bird's eye view, looking down at the home. North is to the left of the screen, and you can see the driveway accessing out onto Highway 83. Elaine's Way is borders the property on the south and the west, and that is where the 2 tracks would have to access from, since no additional access would be allowed onto Highway 83. The proposal is shown here with the green as 3 acres to adult son. Yellow is 3 acres to adult daughter, and the remaining 5-acre tract is the current residence for the Stevens, and they plan to, as far as I know, they plan to continue residing there. And staff is recommending approval of this family transfer request with only 2 evasion criteria triggered, one being, as I mentioned, the growth policy, and the other is that Mr. Stevens is in the construction business. If I could get Mr. Stevens to, I don't know, join, if he's in the audience? Or?
He is. He's coming up to the podium right now.
Perfect. And I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person. But I am gonna, Mr. Stevens, I want to ask you a couple questions. If you would first state your name for the record.
Rodney L. Stevens.
And you've probably been watching the other family transfer requests this afternoon and have seen these couple of questions being asked. So I'm going to it's going to be the same. My first question for you is, did you buy the property with the intent of dividing it?
Yeah, when we bought it, the realtor told us that, we have the potentially to family subdivide that one time, so.
To do a family transfer?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Do you or your transferees intend to transfer any of those properties within the next year?
No.
Okay. And I think I know the answer to the next one. I don't recall you coming in to talk to us about subdivision review, but I need to just make sure. Have you talked to anyone at the county about going through subdivision review?
No.
Okay. And are you expecting those properties to be developed, the transferred properties?
Yes. Rodney's will be hopefully developed this year.
Excellent.
We already have plans drawn up for it. Just
okay.
Gotta wait.
And so that leads. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We're just waiting. Well, this, and then Toby will get started on the septic approval and whatnot. So.
Okay. Okay. That leads to the next question, of course. Do those recipients intend to reside on the property and make you some lucky parents?
Yes.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you so much. I will just then leave you with the slide with the recommendation, a motion to approve the family transfer.
Thank you. Is there any other comments, or does Toby want to say anything? Okay. I don't have any questions.
I do not either. So I would move that we approve the request by Rod and Kathleen Stevens to utilize the family transfer exemption on property located at 3751 Highway 83 North to create and transfer a 3-acre tract shown as Tract 1 to their son Rodney Stevens and a 3-acre tract shown as Tract 3 to their daughter Amy Stevens as presented in the exemption application and affidavit.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Good luck.
Good luck with your project. You bet.
This went a lot faster than I anticipated. Any other business? We're adjourned. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks, Jenny.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.